Well, my name is Erika Joana Urbina. In this occasion, I'm going to talk a little about all the different topics that we developed throughout the first vlog in the subject of teaching practice 2. With nothing else to add, let's get started. In week 1, the content that we developed was initiating interaction in the classroom. This topic describes the importance of interaction in the classroom. Since it is a very important factor in the teaching learning process, right? Interaction is a very essential point in a school. Since a space is created for students to communicate with others and talk about various topics in their environment. So, in which students can give their own point of view and share information about themselves, their preference, habits, ideas, etc. Well, there are also 7 interactive principles which were discussed. These principles are automaticity, intrinsic motivation, strategic investment, willingness to communicate, the language-culture connection, interlanguage, and communicate competence. Also, within initiating interaction in the classroom, there are certain roles that the teacher must fulfill. These roles, which are, for example, teacher as a controller, teacher as a director, teacher as a facilitator, teacher as a manager, and finally, teacher as a researcher. So, it is important to bear in mind that showing confidence in studying is a way of being able to promote in interaction in the classroom, right? Also, show positive respect for them as students need to see the teacher. In week 2, we started the topic how to teach beginner spelling. This topic practically tells us about how we should teach our spelling, the strategies and methodologies that can be designed to stimulate the teaching learning process. In this way, to obtain better results in the development of English skills. We must know that beginners have been little exposed to the English language. Starting from this factor, we must look for practical ways to be able to familiarize them with English language. In this content, we were given some recommendations to teach beginner spelling, which are we must first prioritize the learning goals of our spelling. How much do they know and where to start from? The second one is don't assume anything. That is, we should not assume that the students don't know anything, because it may be that they know things or basic structure of the English language. One way to motivate beginners is to celebrate their small achievement, wherever small it may be. Congratulate them as it's a process in their learning, right? Use their senses. It may be that the student gives meanings to words different from those that are grammatically known. We can use flashcards accompanied by gestures and movements that refer to the words so that they can grasp it more easily. Show, don't tell to them your answers. When asked a question, for example, always try to expand their vocabulary further to lend them their answer. Another tip is to build on what they have already learned. That is to build from the basic to the advanced, from the little to the much, right? Finally, keep in the real things. It is important to teach beginners starting from the various real-life contexts. This point will help us to develop educational curricula that are focusing on effective and meaningful learning for beginners in the English language. Continue. In the week 3 and 4, the content was being developed was teaching vocabulary. This content or topic reflects what teacher must know when teaching vocabulary. So, teacher must choose the topic must be relevant to the student, right? Then propose the guideline on which the vocabulary can be based on this factor can be, for example, common words, student needs, student language, word construction, subject areas, cross-reference, related structure, etc. Within this topic in week 4, we talk about ways to introduce new vocabulary. Some of these are, for example, new vocabulary from context that students know very well. We can implement this through reading passage or reading right. Another way is by creating context where the student can deduce the meaning of word by relating them to others. So another one is description or definition. It consists of describing or giving definition to the spelling so that they can identify what we are referring to more easily. For example, the orange is a circular fruit and orange color, right? So the next one is outside the classroom. That is to incorporate or introduce words that are seen outside the classroom, whether in the park, street, shop, etc. So, use objects that we have in the classroom. Use them as support material for the learning of our studying. So, we can also include blackboard drawings, mimics, photos or pictures, flashcard, word graphic, opposite words, synonym, translation, where students can use a dictionary to translate and better understand word games. All this to stimulate the learning of a new vocabulary through different activities. In the week 5, we studied 2 contents or 2 topics. The number 1 is how to teach using games. It practically explains how teachers can teach through games in the classroom with students, right? Also, we know that the game is an important element in the teaching learning process of the studying. Since through the games, they can learn by doing or getting involved in activities and use their sense to learn. So, we can develop the games in small groups where students play and share vocabulary with others. Also, we can develop playful teaching with all students regardless of age. The next topic is how to use flashcards to teach. It refers how we can introduce a new vocabulary through this flashcard in the classroom. Let's use a flashcard that are briefly colored to capture the student attention, right? Place a short and clear vocabulary in each one of them. Include images or pictures that refer to the word displayed. Vocabulary drilling, it refers that after introducing new vocabulary, it is a good idea to go over it for 10. When a student grabs the majority of vocabulary words, challenge them by passing the word at a faster rate. In this case, translations are no longer necessary. So, another point that we must take into consideration is practice. A student must review and practice a lot, right? Either creating their own flashcards with new vocabulary. It is also important to correct them and reinforcement or giving them feedback what they have learned in each class, okay? We must know that it's important that before submitting them to an exam or quiz, they must be given a review of what they have learned so that they can refresh their knowledge. In this way, obtain better results in the teaching learning process. So, this would be a brief explanation about everything that we developed in the first block. Thanks for watching.